SML staff. We brought you details of this yesterday. Kofo slams politics, religious politics is also on the front page of the Daily Guide. I will not resign over dark, unlawful in-camera probe. This is suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Torkonoo. Sophia Akufo is asking questions about why we want to extend Talos license, and that's also on the front page. And 2 arrested over Dampong headmaster's murder.
Well, you may want to call it boot for boot, but right after the address yesterday by Gertrude Torkonoo, we had government's response on the matter. It's captured here on the front page of the Overseer. It says, "There's no political agenda to remove you." Government fires back at Torkonoo. Then there's the story about rich, smart and young Brian Echampon, who is lacing his boots to contest the NPP flag bearer race. It comes with a picture of him on the front page of the Overseer. Former National Food Buffer Stock CEO reportedly picked up by Yoko, and any effort to link judge's killing to your trial disingenuous. That's a same reaction to the address by the embattled Chief Justice. Then guess what? The GJA elections. Some claims are being made here. Maybe the Chief of Staff Winston will have some foreknowledge about this one. Vote buying to rock GJA elections again. Voters to get between 500 and 2,000 Ghana cedis.
Oh, has it happened before?
That's on which paper?
On the Overseer.
Is this vote by or solely?
Winston owes us 2,500 cedis.
I'm not contesting.
But you're a financier.
I am not a contestant in this election.
You're a financier by association.
But I'm not a contestant.
I'll take 2,000. Could you take 500?
I don't have a vote.
I mean, that's on a lighter note. I think that Akusi Ajiman should be General Secretary of the GJ. I think that Maxwell Kudeko should be Organizing Secretary.
Wow.
That's where my interests are.
Okay, let me take you to the National Enquirer.
Okay, so that's 5,000 in all.
So, the National Enquirer, Asiedu Nketia chairs GPHA board. He's also been speaking to Joy News. We'll bring you more from his interview with Joy News. GRA SML scandal, OSP arrest more. GRA said to modify taxation, and Defense Minister wants of fake Facebook accounts. No one is intimidating you. Government rejects Torkonoo's claim, and Exim Bank woos Chinese investors.
Let's do the New Republic. Yoko sweeps ex-NAFCO cartel, CEO wife and 2 other directors nabbed. There's the death disaster rocks Kevin Autry, and also the CJ story is also being captured here on the New Republic. Ex-GRA boss, 2 others nabbed over SML scandal. And I don't know, it appears a lot of the newspapers are focused on the GJA elections. This one is about Albert Junfor himself, the president of the GJA. It says GJA elections plot thickens. Junfor implicated in a voter register scam. Well, I don't know what the details will be, but I'm sure we'll find out soon.
Let's go to the Daybreak. Torkonoo, Puaman-led committee treating my lawyers like Nebuchadnezzar's magicians. Yeah. That's the angle of the Daybreak this morning. Loyalty over convenience. Afenyo Markin calls for ideological renewal in the NPP. And Nigerian merchants, there's this allegation that Nigerian merchants are taking over the Lakan schedule. The Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors said that there have been some disruptions and it's costing them some $40 million. And so that's the angle of this newspaper.
Diabetes in children needs urgent action. That's according to the health minister. And government clears all arrears, old special schools. GES confirms. Comes with a picture of the education minister himself, who's been up to a lot because still on the Daily Democrat newspaper, you find this story about the education minister inaugurating the CVET and library boards as he's calling for the reading culture and innovation boost to happen. So these are some of the stories on the front page of the Daily Democrat. There's also the story about gender minister calls for renewed commitment against human trafficking, and GTech Director General visits Family Health University, commends rapid growth.
Now, the business analyst this morning has a story on the GRA. It says GRA to introduce 15% VAT on non-life insurance premiums from July 1. And the Torkonoo story is also here on the front page. But something has just caught my attention. The business market rates. This is what the business analyst is quoting: $1 to 10.35 Ghana cedis, and on crude oil, they are quoting $67.78 per barrel.
Yeah.
It's still dropping.
Yeah, it's not dropping.
It should drop. If it drops to 52, Ghana will lose revenue. So, from our own export, what's the optimal? I mean, right now the dollar. No, we agreed that it should be 10 to 12, or we've not agreed on that yet.
Well, we've agreed on that. Except, I mean, at the Forest Bureau, it's around 12.4, 12.6. But I mean, the point you make is actually the real issue now.
Yeah.
But can we sacrifice $1.1 billion earnings for the general well-being of the Ghanaian population? Well, I think that's something we can do. I think that's something we can do. I mean, if it were to reduce to say $50 per barrel, you would trust government to come up with other levies and taxes just to say, since fuel prices have gone down, we can now pay other debts here and there. But that'd be good for us, and it would actually enable you to invest more. When you have a lot of disposable income, you actually pump more into the economy, okay? Because you get to earn more also. You pump more into the economy, and the economy grows, it develops.
So we are now a net exporter of oil, right?
Yes.
If you are
I need to check my facts again. Yeah, but we were some time ago.
If the assumption, is that we're a net exporter of oil, then when oil prices drop, it will affect us. But if you're a net importer, when it drops, then you deal with it.
But this is the challenge. This is the challenge, okay? The challenge is such that Ghana as a country exports a lot of oil. The government of Ghana's carrying interest is minimal.
Oh, okay.
So, in totality, yes. But our earnings from that is less than. So, the government of Ghana's earnings from crude oil is less than our imports of crude oil. So, if we're just looking at the government of Ghana's earnings, then we'll be a net importer.
Yeah.
If we're looking at the total earnings, then you could say, okay, then we are a net exporter.
Okay.
So that's where the challenge is. But, my brother,
It could
government
be.
must solve problems. So as for me, if it goes down, I'm happy. Government, that's why we voted them into office.
Yeah.
Think.
If it goes down and hits 60, will it be okay if we
50.
So if it hits 50 and they decide to implement the fuel levy?
No, I'm still against that.
Maybe
you must cushion society.
$50.
You must cushion society. I am against that.
Maybe $2.
I do not support.
$10 billion.
I do not support any levy on crude oil, on petroleum products. I'm against that. Anyway.
Let's do the Ghanaian Times. Ni Adamalache II urges calming Gamashi, or Gamashi, I think that's the pronunciation. Ni Teko to praise Supreme Court to quash High Court ruling. OSP arrests former GRA officials over SML contracts. Then President John Dramani Mahama is off to Belgium. He's already there. He's been meeting Bill Gates and the others, so I think Kasha backroom. Kakra. Government disburses 8.9 million Ghana cedis arrears owed special schools, and Zoom Lion extends sustainable waste management solutions to Burkina Faso.
What's happening online?
I'll take you to my jaw line. The entire EC leadership must go. They are not fit for purpose. This is Asiedu Nketia. Now, this is the top story on my jaw online. It's also the top story on City Newsroom. Jean Mensah officials must go. They've mismanaged EC Asiedu Nketia, and this was from an interview he had with Evans Mensah on Joy News. Now, the EC is not fit for purpose. Asiedu Nketia demands EC overhaul, and there's an explainer by the Joy Business Research team on why the PURC raised electricity tariffs despite falling indicators. And yesterday, Blessed and I broke them down. The dollar has dropped. The CD dollar rate has dropped. The projected inflation has also dropped from 23 to 20 point something. The only thing that increased marginally was the cost of gas, which increased from $7.6 to a million British thermal units to 7.7. So we asked, based on all these, why are we increasing the tariff? But then the research team have also looked deeper into the reasoning, and the outstanding revenues of 488 million Ghana cedis carried over from the 3 previous quarters, which we discussed.
That
One
was
of the
also
reasons
containing the statement.
The reserve capacity, the inclusion of the reserve capacity for great stability and reliability is also another reason, and the inclusion of 27% of the cost of alternative fuels, such as distillate fuel oil, heavy fuel oil, and light crude oil. So these are the liquid fuels. Has also been included.
Included now
in the tariff. 27% of that cost has been included. So that explains why.
So you see why you don't need the one CD levy, because now we are including it.
Just 27%.
We must include all.
Okay.
All of it.
And recover all that.
All of it
from the tariffs.
All of it.
You use electricity. You pay for it.
Pay. Why must I pay? Why must I buy more fuel? I can understand. You see, when I pay taxes, I understand on that note. When I pay my income tax, I understand. When I pay my VAT, I understand the whole concept of, okay, those who can afford should go ahead and pay, but not this one. Not this one. This one I don't subscribe to it.
Let me bring you some more headlines from my John Online. Loyalty alone won't cut it. Asiedu Nketia declares competence comes first in NDC appointment. John Mahama, our president, has met Bill Gates to discuss Ghana's health reforms ahead of Gavi pledging session. And I saw a video of the president talking to global leaders saying that one B-52 bomber costs about $2 billion. So it would just take about 3 of them to help us raise the 9 billion we are looking for.
Help who?
To help the world immunize 500 million people, vaccinate 500 million people. So people should get together. We should all get together and invest in vaccinations and related stuff.
I need to do this. I agree with those who say Ghana is not poor. Ghana is not a poor country. What we have is poor leadership. Look, at every point in our society, somebody tasked with a mandate to protect the national interest is thinking about his private interest. And so things that would cost, say, 500,000 are being inflated to cost 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. And we're always begging, we always think that people should do things for us. My brother, was it in primary 5 that I said, for all things, look to yourself? Look to yourself and better your situation. Let us stop this every day. We have too much money in this country that if we dealt with corruption alone, rather, we would not have a problem. I insist, you don't need people to contribute to a universal medical trust fund. NHIS, NHIA alone can fund it after the uncapping. I insist that when it comes to free education, we can fund it. We don't need, everything can be done if we really want to do it. However, all these funds end up in people's pockets. Let's get serious.
Anyway, let me take you to the graphic online. July 1 reinstated as public holiday as Parliament passes the Public Holidays Amendment.
And we are back to the founders and founder.
But so the story says the newly the newly passed legislation restores July 1 as Republic Day, formalizing the recognition of the country's transition to a republic in 1960. It also introduces a new public holiday for the Muslim community known as Shag Day, to be observed a day after Eid al-Fitr. The day is intended to allow extended reflection and celebration for the Islamic festival. It's like we have Christmas Day and we have Boxing Day. So our Muslim brothers are also going to have that, and sisters. And in a significant change, the bill repeals August 4 as Founders Day and reinstates September 21 as a Founders Day in honor of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And we're also told that if a holiday falls within the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, it will be moved to either the Monday or the Friday.
And if it's on Saturday, Sunday, it's Monday. So now, in fact, the Minister of Interior, the Ministry of Interior, understands that people must have long weekends.
Yes, and what this is going to do really is going to give us a boost, especially in the tourism and entertainment space, because the long weekends, we will organize more events, we will travel more, we will spend more. So everything has an advantage if we look at it and curate activities like Ministry of Tourism, Ghana Tourism, work with various sector players. We can use these this new legislation on holidays to actually give the tourism sector.
You know Wales, right? The country Wales. When I was there in Cardiff, the population was about 3 million. Now, I saw a documentary that actually focused on the country's 300 breweries. Population of 3 million.
Yeah.
Some families had their small brewery somewhere. They were brewing their own beer, enjoying it. And when it's weekend, my goodness. When you get in there, and in the West, people could just travel, go and have fun, get into a bus or a train, they're back.
Exactly.
And so I agree with you perfectly. Some of the things we must do, we don't travel a lot in this country. And so the funeral tourism was misunderstood.
Yeah.
I got friends who came for my father's funeral. Some set off on Thursday.
Yeah.
Some set off Friday morning. They go to Takrady at midnight.
Yeah. Some would pass through Kakum, go through other places, and just enjoy the sights on their way to the funeral.
Exactly. Some would stop at Winneba, some would stop at Cape Coast, some would stop at Elmina. And by the time they got to Takrady and decided to come to Mpoho, they got to Mpoho, on Saturday, early in the morning. Went to Apiminim to go and enjoy fufu, and so that's how you do it.
Yeah. Now let me bring you some of the other top stories. And the Asiedu Nketia has been speaking, and he said a lot on appointments and all that. But the big story from that conversation for me is the one on the EC. Now, the chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, has launched an attack on the Electoral Commission, declaring its entire leadership unfit for purpose and calling for their removal. Speaking on Joy News PM Express on Wednesday, June 25, the NDC chairman did not mince words, and according to him, there has to be a change. He says the three top leadership must all go. They have managed the commission so badly,
and he's been consistent about this message for some time now.
yeah.
And this is what he must desist from doing. Okay, because once you continue like that, then the people start. Someone petitions, and then it becomes an NPP NDC thing.
Yeah.
Now you so then the conversation starts. Oh, this was premeditated. This was something they had always wanted to do. So, politicians must learn.
Yeah.
Sometimes in a hurry to satisfy, party bases and all of that, you actually hurt the national psyche.
Anyway, yesterday the suspended Chief Justice also spoke, and she said a lot in that particular press event.
She says she won't resign.
Yes.
We'll bring you all the highlights.
Yes, she says she won't resign, and she said, like Nebuchadnezzar's situation, in which he demanded that magicians in his court should tell him his dream and also interpret it. That's how his lawyers are being treated. We'll bring you more on that here on the Super Morning Show.